Welcome to Worldbuilding Notes. In this episode, kinship terminology in Itlu. I recently came across the 6 basic kinship system types and the terminology that different cultures use to refer to all the various relatives. And I tried to draw a nice little family tree like that for the typical aristocratic family of my conworld, but just failed completely. But I could actually draw the typical family tree for a peasant family though. Those are really simple, for reasons having to do with the huge magical creatures lumbering under my river basin. The peasantry in that river basin is 100% female, and they reproduce by giving birth to genetic clones of themselves. So a peasant girl has her mother, Nane, though she could also call her Kinachna, which is the equivalent of saying mummy. She herself is her mother's daughter, Tichwa, but she could also call her daughter Kipichlu'e, which means something like a little echo, and refers to the fact that she is a genetic copy of her mother, or her echo. And if our peasant girl has a sibling, that's her Tusla. Her grandmother is her Wanachna, which is really just the augmentative form of the word mother, and she can also be called Wawe, which is more like saying granny. And if her grandmother had more daughters, then those are our peasant girl's aunts, or Tode, and the aunt's daughters are her sisters, since they are genetically identical to her anyway. If her grandmother has a sister, she is the peasant girl's grandaunt, or Watochta, and her daughters are aunts, and her daughters' daughters are just more sisters. Her great-grandmother is her Nanitewanachna, literally mother of grandmother, and her great-great-grandmother is her Nanitenna Tewanachna, or mother of grandmother. So it's all quite simple, really. The aristocratic families, on the other hand, are harder to explain. Again, for reasons having to do with the huge magical creatures lumbering deep beneath the surface. The aristocracy is about 80% female, and they practice a form of group marriage, where a small number of men marry a larger group of women who are all related to one another. And it's more complicated than it might sound at first. Let's say we have a household, or Ede, made up of 12 adult women and 6 children. Realistically, there would be way more children, but I can't afford the space on the screen for all of them. So let's say this family has been struck by the child death plague, and this is all they have. They are joined by 3 men, though not all at once. Back when the first one joined, the women who are currently the oldest ones were already around, so he is their husband, or Aksu, and they are his Oswa, wives. All the children born into the household after he joined are his children, or Sapahwa collectively, and Kipahwa individually. Both these words are derived from the word for father, Pawe, and using them is only relevant when talking of children as the children of their father, and they are the only words that men use to refer to their own children. Getting back to our chart, this little group is special because they were all born before this guy joined, so they belong to the older man's generation, forming a Satusla'e. And these 3 women are all their mothers, regardless of who actually gave birth to who. The younger man is married to all the women who were there when he joined, and all the children born into the family afterwards are his children, which means that everyone in this group has 2 fathers, and these women were all born before the 3rd husband joined, so they all belong to their younger father's generation, and all these women are their mothers. The 3rd man is married to all these women since they were the ones already there. All the children born afterwards are his children, which means that this bunch have 3 fathers. And all these women are their mothers. And of course they are in this man's generation. All the children within a generation are siblings to one another, regardless of who gave birth to who and who fathered who. and the word they use to refer to one another is tusla. Separating generations based on when a new man joins the family is really just a way of making sure that there's no accidental incest happening. But it also means that even if this girl and this woman were both given birth to by the same mother, the older daughter is the mother of the younger daughter because they don't belong to the same generation. Might sound weird, but she is married to one of the younger girl's fathers, so it does make sense. And I previously mentioned that these terms are all about being the child of a father, so these are the terms that aristocratic women use to call their daughters and sons, naknu and sakni. The daughters will remain with their mothers for the rest of their lives, while the sons will leave to be husbands to women of some other family. Technically, though, they will always remain members of their original household, and everyone born in it 2 generations after theirs will be their ettusla, which means something like niece and nephew, but also refers to the children of nieces and the children of the daughters of those nieces as well, and so on, while they will be the natnusla, or the brothers of their mothers. I will not get into the relationships between members of different households, or this video will just get way too long, but you get the basic idea.